Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Michael Hecht, and we're going to present a program called Memory, Resistance, and Struggle. And I'm so honored and privileged every time we collaborate on a program. I have with me a remarkable musician, Mr. Bill Camplain. And I also would like to thank the Stoughton Opera House staff for their graciousness in giving us the opportunity to present these readings and music. And so let's begin. An excerpt from All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Remarque. It is autumn. There are not many of the old hands left. I am the last of the 7 fellows from our class. Everyone talks of peace and armistice. All wait. If it again proves an illusion, then they will break up. Hope is high. It cannot be taken away again without an upheaval. If there is not peace, then there will be revolution. I have 14 days rest because I have swallowed a bit of gas. In the little garden, I sit the whole day long in the sun. The armistice is coming soon. I believe it now, too. Then we will go home. Here my thoughts stop and will not go any farther. All that meets me, all that floods over me are but feelings. Greed of life, love of home, yearning for the blood, intoxication of deliverance, but no aims. Had we returned home in 1916 out of the suffering and the strength of our experiences, we might have unleashed a storm. Now, if we go back, we will be weary, broken, burnt out, ruthless, and without hope. We will not be able to find our way anymore. And men will not understand us, for the generation that grew up before us, though it has passed these years with us, already had a home and a calling. Now it will return to its old occupations, and the war will be forgotten. And the generation that has grown up after us will be strange to us and push us aside. We will be superfluous, even to ourselves. We will grow older. A few will adapt themselves. Some others will merely submit, and most will be bewildered. The years will pass by, and in the end, we shall fall into ruin. But perhaps all this that I think is mere melancholy and dismay, which will fly away as the dust when I stand once again beneath the poplars and listen to the rustling of the leaves. It cannot be that it is gone, the yearning that made our blood unquiet, the unknown, the perplexing, the oncoming things, the 1,000 faces of the future, the melodies from dreams and from books, the whispers and divinations of women. It cannot be that this has vanished in bombardment, in despair, in brothels. Here the trees show gay and golden, the berries of the rowan stand red among the leaves, country roads run white out to the skyline, and the canteens hum like beehives with rumors of peace. I stand up. I am very quiet. Let the months and years come. They can take nothing from me. They can take nothing more. I am so alone and so without hope that I can't confront them without fear. The life that has borne me through these years is the life in my hands and my eyes. Whether I have subdued it, I know not. But so long it is there, it will seek its own way out, heedless of the will that is with me.
A cardboard box for the clothes he ain't wearing, a backpack full of songs he's never memorized, another audience full of beer and smoke and laughing, and as he sings he shuts his eyes. Where were you when they said it doesn't matter? Well, how did you end up this way? Still trying to push the thought that no one cares to hear. Doesn't that burn your heart away? Or are you helpless? Is that what you'll say? I heard him say he's got some dreams for tomorrow. Maybe a couple acres way up north somewhere. Build a home perhaps, but keep it all real simple. It's just a dream, but he don't care. And where were you when they passed out brains, Lord? He must have played that damn guitar too long. Still trying to push a song that no one cares to hear. Doesn't that burn your heart away? Or are you helpless? Is that what you'll say? He knows his mistakes, they're as big as they are many. Most of the things he sought, oh, he never can attain. Dodging in between confusion and depression till he can catch his breath again. Where were you when directions were given, explaining how to drift downstream? Still trying to push yourself against the current flow. Doesn't that burn your heart away? Or are you helpless? Yes, that's what he'll say. But at least not hopeless. At least not today.
Lucy Atkins writes in her poem, Geese. Night, walking in and out of streetlight shadows, kicking leaves along Sheridan Boulevard, down Winthrop, and then I hear them. Geese, flying high above the city, their geese voices calling through the clouds and mist, calling out yellow to the top of the cottonwoods, calling out red sumac, burning bush, chrysanthemums and whites, fuchsias, blood, red, orange. And tonight the fog like smoke, rose-tinged and strange in city lights. Overhead, the geese are flying the good flight they have flown for thousands of years, north to the nesting grounds, wild hearts singing. 1,500 miles east, our country leaders are voting for war, voting yes to bombs and fire and poison gas, yes to armies marching across the sand. But here in Lincoln, Nebraska, the geese fly over, the old wisdom in their feathers, their sinew, their good hollow bones. They call through the clattering leaves, the fog, listen, yes, listen. Lucy Atkins. A poem by Yusef Kuminyaka. Inside our skulls, years after this scene ends, The brain closes down to get the job done. What looks like one step into the trees, they're lifting crates of ammo and sacks of rice, swaying under the shared weight, caught in the infrared. What are they saying? Are they talking about women or calling the Americans? One of them is laughing. You want to place a finger to his lips and say, shh. You try reading ghost talk on their lips. They say, up, up we go, lifting as one. This one, old, bow-legged, you feel you could reach out and take him in your arms. You peer down the sights of your M16, seeing the full moon loaded on an ox cart. Yusef Kumanyaka. A poem by Jimmy Santiago Baca. Oppression is a question of strength, of unshed tears, of being trampled under, and always, always remembering you are human. Look deep to find the grains of hope and strength, and sing, my brothers and sisters, and sing. The sun will share your birthdays with you behind bars. The new spring grass, like fiery spears, will count your years as you start into the next year. Endure, my brothers, endure, my sisters. Jimmy Santiago Baca. The next reading is from a very pivotal book for me in my late teens. It was Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo. And I'd like to read to you an introduction Mr. Trumbo wrote, and then follow it with an excerpt from the great anti-war book, Johnny Got His Gun. Dalton Trumbo writes, World War I began like a summer festival, all billowing skirts and golden epaulets. Millions upon millions cheered from the sidewalks, while plumed imperial highnesses, field marshals, and other such fools paraded through the capital cities of Europe at the head of their shining legions. It was a season of generosity, a time for boasts, bands, poems, songs, innocent prayers. It was an August made palpitant and breathless by the prenuptial nights of young gentlemen officers and the girls they left permanently behind them. One of the Highland regiments went over the top in its first battle behind 40 kilted bagpipers, skirling away for all they were worth at machine guns. 9 million corpses later, when the band stopped and the marshals stopped coming, the wall of bagpipes would never again sound quite the same. It was the last of the romantic wars, and Johnny Got His Gun was probably the last American novel written about it before an entirely different affair called World War II. Is it possible for anything to resist change, even a mere commodity that can be bought, buried, banned, damned, praised, or ignored for all the wrong reasons? Probably not. Johnny Got His Gun held a different meaning for 3 different wars. Its present meaning is what each reader conceives it to be, and each reader is gloriously different from every other reader, and each is also changing. I've let it remain as it was to see what it is. Signed, Dalton Trumbo, Los Angeles, March 25th, 1959. Johnny Got His Gun. To fight that war, they would need men, and if men saw the future, they wouldn't fight. So they were masking the future. They were keeping the future a soft, quiet, deadly secret. They knew that if all the little people, all the little guys saw the future, they would begin to ask questions. They would ask questions, then they would find answers, and they would say to the guys who wanted them to fight, they would say to you, you lying, thieving sons, we won't fight, we won't be dead, we will live, we are the world, we are the future, and we will not let you butcher us no matter what you say, no matter what speeches you make, no matter what slogans you write. Remember it well, we are the world, we are what makes it go round. We make bread and cloth and guns. We are the hub of the wheel and the spokes, and the wheel itself. Without us, you would be hungry, naked worms, and we will not die. We are immortal. We are the sources of life. We are the lowly, despicable, ugly people. We are the great, wonderful, beautiful people of the world, and we are sick of it. We are utterly weary. We are done with it forever and ever, because we are the living and we will not be destroyed. If you make a war, if there are guns to be aimed, if there are bullets to be fired, if there are men to be killed, they will not be us. They will not be us, the guys who grow wheat and turn it into food, the guys who make clothes and paper and houses and tiles, the guys who build dams and power plants and string the long, moaning, high-tension wires, the guys who crack crude oil down into a dozen different parts, who make the light globes and sewing machines and shovels and automobiles and airplanes and tanks and guns. Oh, no, it will not be us who will die. It will be you. It will be you, you who urge us on to battle, you who incite us against ourselves, you who would have one cobbler kill another cobbler, you who would have one man who works kill another man who works, you who would have one human being who wants only to live kill another human being who wants only to live. Remember this. Remember this well, you people who plan for war. Remember this, you patriots, you fierce ones, you spawners of hate, you inventors of slogans. Remember this, as you have never remembered anything else in your lives. We are men of peace. We are men who work, and we want no quarrel. But if you destroy our peace, if you take away our work, if you try to range us one against the other, we will know what to do. If you tell us to make the world safe for democracy, we will take you seriously, and by God and by Christ, we will make it so. We will use the guns you force upon us. We will use them to defend our very lives, and the menace to our lives does not lie on the other side of a no man's land that was set apart without our consent. It lies within our own boundaries, here and now. We have seen it and know it. Put the guns into our hands, and we will use them. Give us the slogans, and we will turn them into realities. Sing the battle hymns, and we will take them up where you left off. Not 1, not 10, not 10,000, not 1 million, not 10 million, not 100 million, but 1 billion, 2 billion of us, all the people of the world. We will have the slogans, and we will have the hymns, and we will have the guns, and we will use them, and we will live. Make no mistake of it, we will live. We will be alive, and we will walk and talk and eat and sing and laugh and feel and love and bear our children in tranquility, in security, in decency, in peace. You plan the wars, you masters of men, plan the wars and point the way, and we will point the gun. Johnny got his gun, Dalton Trumbo.
Once again I am forced to tell, things have not been going all that well for me. There's still the anger, the subway opera and the midnight fling, the stolen secrets and the space-age sting, and time compounds the danger. The capsule news that now surrounds us, briefly giving us pictures of the world, and in 25 words or less they're gonna tell us how the young ones died. Allow each side to tell us how and why. Forget the insights and the histories, treat the problems like a mystery, and your response is gonna help to solve this mess if it's in 25 words or less. The city comes on like an off-freak show. Avoid their eyes so they will never know your fears to ever get involved. If your attention span can last that long, that corporate DJ and his 3-minute song will supply you with local anesthetic. You just sit back and make believe you can comprehend it. Fake your interest by asking for replies. In 25 words or less, how's the weather? Are you having fun? Would you let your sister marry one? Are you still on pills? Do you intend to vote? Did you hear the suburbs? Gonna build a moat, no time to listen. You have to make your guess in 25 words or less. The politicians play the same old song, the one where they're right and we are wrong. Well now folks, that's politics. And us folk and rock singers, we're all the same. We make our living on the entertainment game for the right amount. We'll even do it your way. Now if you make it, they might ask for an opinion. If you give it, you gotta make it brief. Like in 25 words or less, explain your fortune as an honest day's pay. How you starved for years in your younger days with a straight face and a self-taught smirk. Tell everyone you'd be rich if you would only work. And don't forget to humbly say how you've been blessed. All this in 25 words or less. Try to say what you intend to do, then predict what will become of you. Find an idol, give them all control. Join a movement just to purge your soul. The only rule is that you must confess. All this in 25 words or less. In 25 words or less. 25 words or less.
This is a letter, March 11th, 1919. Written in Forest Hills, New York. It's written by Helen Keller. Eugene Debs, the leader of the Socialist Party, had just been put in prison for his anti-war stance. And Helen Keller writes to Eugene Debs, "Dear comrade, of course the Supreme Court has sustained the decision of the lower court in your case. To my mind, the decision has added another laurel to your wreath of victories. Once more, you are going to prison for upholding the liberties of the people. I write because my heart cries out. It will not be still. I write because I want you to know that I should be proud if the Supreme Court convicted me of abhorring war and doing all in my power to oppose it. When I think of the millions who have suffered in all the wicked wars of the past, I am shaken with the anguish of a great impatience. I want to fling myself against all brute powers that destroy the life and break the spirit of man. In the persecution of our comrades, there is one satisfaction. Every trial of men like you, every sentence against them, tears away the veil that hides the face of the enemy. The discussion and agitation that follow the trials define more sharply the positions that must be taken before all men can live together in peace, happiness, and security. We were driven into the war for liberty, democracy, and humanity. Behold what is happening all over the world today. Oh, where is the swift vengeance of Jehovah, that it does not fall upon the host of those who are marshaling machine guns against hungry, stricken peoples? It is the complacency of madness to call such acts as preserving law and order. What oceans of blood and tears are shed in their name? I have come to loathe traditions and institutions that take away the rights of the poor and protect the wicked against judgment. The wise fools who sit in the high places of justice fail to see that in revolutionary times like the present, vital issues are settled not by statutes, decrees, and authorities, but in spite of them. Like the Girondins of France, they imagine that force can check the onrush of revolution. Thus they sow the wind, and unto them shall be the harvest of the whirlwind. You, dear comrade, I have long loved you because you are an apostle of brotherhood and freedom. For years I have thought of you as a dauntless explorer going toward the dawn, and like a humble adventurer, I have followed in the trail of your footsteps. From time to time, the greetings that have come back to me from you have made me very happy. And now I reach out my hand and clasp yours through prison bars. With heartfelt greetings and with a firm faith that the cause for which you are now martyred shall be all the stronger because of your sacrifice and devotion. I am yours for the revolution. May it come swiftly like a shaft sundering the dark. Helen Keller.
Well, I started out just singing like a million other kids. Kept one eye on fame and fortune just like everybody did. To the barrooms and the cafes, always taking in the news. Kept my fingers on the pulses for the lyrics I would choose. I learned the tricks of entertainment and the stagecraft of the wink. I could spend all day beside you just to know just what you think. And take it home and weave it to a tune meant to inspire. Yet the patrons' heads were nodding, I was preaching to the choir. I've let my people down. I have let my people down. I've let my people down. And I'll have to take that to my grave. I have scorned the politicians for the ethics that they lack. Picked apart their voting records like an armchair quarterback. Now there are people on the front lines trying to turn this world around. Yes, I read it and I watch it, but I'm nowhere to be found. I've let my people down. I've let my people down. I've let my people down. And I have to take that to my grave. Now you can take me out to dinner, I can always hold my own. As we drink and talk and wonder just how bad this world has grown. I've seen it from the inside, always looking for the prize. Took that music to the market in the name of compromise. I let my people down. I have let my people down. I've let my people down. And I have to take that to my grave. I can praise the sacrifices of Mandela and of King, and abuse the 1%ers who would have us kiss their ring. But the billionaires are winning like they knew it all along. And if all they'd I could change it just by writing one more song. I've let my people down. my people down, and I have to take that to my grave. I have let my people down. I've let my people down, and I have to take that to my grave.
Confined in a small jail for civil disobedience in Birmingham, Alabama, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. learned that 8 prominent clergymen, all white, had issued an appeal for law and order and common sense, essentially condemning King. They believed his marches, sit-ins, and demonstrations, although nonviolent, were nevertheless igniting the flames of fear and racial strife in the towns and cities in which they occurred. The clergymen recommended that King try to solve racial problems through the local and federal courts. Results would come more slowly, they conceded, but at least there would be no possibility of confrontation or social discord. Despite his imprisonment, King felt it necessary to respond immediately to their criticisms, as well as to their praise for the Birmingham Police Department, led by Eugene Bull Connor, who assaulted demonstrators with fire hoses and police dogs. Initially written in the margins of a newspaper and on scraps of paper in his cell, he was then provided a notepad by his attorneys. King's letter from Birmingham jail is an excerpt I chose from that great letter. For years now, I have heard the words wait. It rings in the air of every Negro with a piercing familiarity. This wait almost always meant never. It has been a tranquilizing thalidomide, relieving the emotional stress for a moment, only to give birth to an ill-formed infant of frustration. We must come to see with the distinguished jurists of yesterday that justice too long delayed is justice denied. We have waited for more than 340 years for our constitutional and God-given rights. The nations of Asia and Africa are moving with jet-like speed toward the goal of political independence, and we still creep at horse and buggy pace toward the grain of a cup of coffee at a lunch counter. I guess it is easy for those who have never felt the stinging darts of segregation to say, wait. But when you have seen vicious mobs lynch your mothers and fathers at will and drown your sisters and brothers at whim, when you have seen hateful policemen curse, kick, brutalize, and even kill your black brothers and sisters with impunity, when you see the vast majority of your 20 million Negro brothers smothering in an airtight cage of poverty in the midst of an affluent society, when you suddenly find your tongue twisted and your speech stammering as you seek to explain to your 6-year-old daughter why she can't go to the public amusement park that has just been advertised on television, and see tears welling up in her little eyes when she is told that Funtown is closed to colored children, and see the depressing clouds of inferiority begin to form in her little mental sky, and see her begin to distort her little personality by unconsciously developing a bitterness toward white people. When you have to concoct an answer for a 5-year-old son asking in agonizing pathos, "Daddy, why do white people treat colored people so mean?" When you take a cross-country drive and find it necessary to sleep night after night in the uncomfortable corners of your automobile because no motel will accept you. When you are humiliated day in and day out by nagging signs reading white and colored. When your first name becomes nigger and your middle name becomes boy, however old you are, and your last name becomes John, and when your wife and mother are never given the respected title Mrs., when you are harried by day and haunted by night by the fact that you are a Negro living constantly at tiptoe stance, never quite knowing what to expect next, and plagued with inner fears and outer resentments, when you are forever fighting a degenerating sense of nobodiness, then you will understand why we find it difficult to wait. There comes a time when the cup of endurance runs over, and men are no longer willing to be plunged into an abyss of injustice, where they experience the blackness of corroding despair. I hope, sirs, you can understand our legitimate and unavoidable impatience. We will reach the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over the nation, because the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied with the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before the pen of Jefferson etched across the pages of history the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence, we were here. For more than 2 centuries, our foreparents labored in this country without wages. They made cotton king, and they built the homes of their masters in the midst of brutal injustice and shameful humiliation. And yet, out of a bottomless vitality, they continued to thrive and developed. If the inexpressible cruelties of slavery could not stop us, the opposition we now face will surely fail. One day the South will know that when these disinherited children of God sat down at lunch counters, they were in reality standing up for the best in the American dream and the most sacred values in our Judeo-Christian heritage, and thusly carrying our whole nation back to those great wells of democracy, which were dug deep by the Founding Fathers in the formation of the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. Never before have I written this long, or should I say a book. I'm afraid that it is much too long to take your precious time. I can assure you that it would have been much shorter if I had been writing from a comfortable desk. But what else is there to do when you're alone for days in the dull monotony of a narrow jail cell than write long letters, think strange thoughts, and pray long prayers? If I have said anything in this letter that is an overstatement of the truth and indicative of an unreasonable impatience, I beg you to forgive me. If I have said anything in this letter that is an understatement of the truth and is indicative of my having a patience that makes me patient with anything less than brotherhood, I beg God to forgive me. I hope this letter finds you strong in the faith. I also hope that circumstances will soon make it possible for me to meet each of you, not as an integrationist or a civil rights leader, but as a fellow clergyman and a Christian brother. Let us all hope that the dark clouds of racial prejudice will soon pass away and the deep fog of misunderstanding will be lifted from our fear-drenched communities. And in some not too distant tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine over our great nation with all of their scintillating beauty. Yours for the cause of peace and brotherhood, Martin Luther King, Jr.
Passing on the outer wind, rising with the moon, trying to let the night begin, what can't be done at noon, sailing for a distant shore, hoping for the best, gazing through the silver light, searching for the rest. Then it struck me in the night, I could not remember if I'm wrong or right. Hold the course, but where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? holding up my candlelight, looking for my room. There must be reason there why I spoke too soon. Filled with life and filled with tears, creaking down the road to that station where we're supposed to be, adding up our gold. Can it be I've come too far to hide all my feelings in an old mason jar? Hold the course, but where do I wanna go? Where do I wanna go? Passing on the outer wind, rising with the moon, feeling for another way, changing all my tunes, reaching to a distant past where I hope to find what it is I really want and what I left behind. Must it be to never know which way I'm heading when there's four winds that blow? Hold me close, but where do I wanna go? Where do I wanna go? Sometimes this world seems too far ahead. Sometimes this world seems too far ahead.
I chose excerpts from the great play by Arthur Miller titled All My Sons. The characters involved are Mr. and Mrs. Keller, their son Chris, their surviving son Chris, and they had a son, his name was Larry, and they have a visiting woman, her name is Anne, at one time the fiancée of Larry, and now towards the future, she might be the fiancée of Chris. All My Sons. Mrs. Keller says, remember the way Larry used to fly low past the house when he was in training? When we used to see his face in the cockpit going by? That's the way I saw him, only high up, way, way up where the clouds are. He was so real, I could reach out and touch him. And suddenly he started to fall and crying to me. Mom, Mom. I could hear him like he was in the room. Mom, it was his voice. If I could touch him, I knew I could stop him. If I can only. I woke up and it was so funny. The wind, it was like the roaring of his engine. I came out here. I must have still been half asleep. I could hear that roaring like he was going by. The tree snapped in front of me, and like I came awake. See, we should never have planted the tree. I said so in the first place. It was too soon to plant a tree for him. Chris, too soon, Mom? Yes, Chris, we rushed into it. Everybody was in such a hurry to bury him. I said not to plant it yet. I told you to. Mother, Mother. The wind blew it down. What significance has it got, Mom? What are you talking about? Mother, please, don't go through it all again, will you? It's no good. It doesn't accomplish anything. I've been thinking, maybe we ought to put our minds to forgetting him. Chris, that's the third time you've said that this week. Because it's not right, Mom. We never took up our lives again. We're like at a railroad station, waiting for a train that never comes in. Let's drive someplace, Ann. I want to be alone with you. No, what is it, Chris? Your mother? No, nothing like that. Then what's wrong, Chris? You've got to tell me, mustn't you? It wouldn't work this way, would it? Even in your letters, there was something ashamed. And yes, I suppose I've been ashamed. I don't know how to start to tell you. It's mixed up with so many other things. It goes so far back. You remember I was in command of a company? Yeah, sure. Well, I lost them, man. How many, Chris? Just about all. Oh, gee, Chris. And it takes a little time to toss that off because they weren't just men. For instance, one time it's been raining several days, and this kid came to me and gave me his last pair of dry socks. Put them in my pocket. That's only a little thing, but that's the kind of guys I had. They didn't die. They killed themselves for each other. I mean that exactly. A little more selfish, and they'd have been here today. And I've got an idea watching them go down. Everything was being destroyed. But it seemed to me that one new thing was made, a kind of responsibility, man for man. You understand me, Ann? To show that, to bring that onto the earth again, like some kind of monument, and everyone would feel it standing there behind him, and it would make a difference to him. And then I came home, and it was incredible. There was no meaning in it here. The whole thing to them was a kind of bus accident. Like when I went to work with Dad and that rat race again, I felt ashamed somehow because nobody was changed at all. It seemed to make suckers out of a lot of guys. I felt wrong to be alive, to open the bank book, to drive the new car, to see the new refrigerator. I mean, you take those things out of a war, but when you drive that car, you've got to know that it came out of the love a man can have for a man. You've got to be a little better because of that. Otherwise, what you have is really loot, and there's blood on it. I didn't want to take any of it, and I guess that included you. And you still feel that way, Chris? No, because you mustn't feel that way anymore. He never flew a P-40, Chris. But the others, Dad, she's out of her mind. Dad, you did it. He never flew a P-40, Chris. What's the matter with you? Then you did it to the others. What's the matter with you? What the hell is the matter with you? Dad, how could you do that? What's the matter with you? Dad, you killed 21 men. What killed? You killed them. You murdered them. How could I kill anybody, Chris? Dad, I didn't kill anybody. Then explain it to me, Dad. What did you do? Explain it to me or I'll tear you to pieces. What did you do then? What did you do? Now tell me what you did. What did you do? Don't, Chris, don't. I want to know what you did, Dad. Now what did you do? You had 121 cracked engine heads. Now what did you do? If you're going to hang me, son, then I'm listening. God almighty, I'm listening, Dad. Chris, you're a boy. What could I do? I'm in business. A man is in business. 121 cracked. You're out of business. You got a process. The process doesn't work. You're out of business. You don't know how to operate. Your stuff is no good. They close you up. They tear up your contracts. What's the hell it's to them? You lay 40 years into a business and they knock you out in 5 minutes. What could I do, Chris? Let them take 40 years? Let them take my life away? I never thought they'd install them. I swear to God, I thought they'd stop them before anybody took off. Then why'd you ship them out? By the time they could spot them, I thought I'd have the process going again, and I can show them they needed me, and they let it go by. But weeks passed, and I got no kickback, so I was going to tell them. Then why didn't you tell them? It was too late. The paper was all over the front page. 21 went down. It was too late. They came with handcuffs into the shop. What could I do? Chris, I did it for you. It was a chance. I took it for you. I'm 61 years old. When would I have another chance to make something for you? 61 years old. You don't get another chance, do you? You even knew they wouldn't hold up in the air, Dad. I didn't say that, but you were going to warn them not to use them? But that don't mean, it means you knew they'd crash. It don't mean that, son. Then you thought they'd crash. I was afraid, maybe. You were afraid, maybe? Almighty God in heaven, what kind of man are you? Kids were hanging in the air by those heads. You knew that. For you, Chris, a business for you. For me, where do you live, Dad? Where have you come from? For me, I was dying every day and you were killing my boys and you did it for me. I was so proud you were helping us win and you did it for me. What the hell do you think I was thinking of? The goddamn business? Is that as far as your mind can see, the business? What is that, the world? The business? What are you made of? Dollar bills? What the hell do you mean you did it for me? Don't you have a country? Don't you live in the world? What the hell are you? You're not even an animal. No animal kills its own. What are you? What must I do to you? I ought to tear the tongue out of your mouth, Dad. What must I do? What must I do? Jesus, God, what must I do? Oh, Chris, my Chris.
Old man, where you sleep tonight? Or can you make it off the streets? Shall we wait here for the squad? They know your name. That coat was once the latest style, but you should know those were your times. Those cold hands long have been unable to show your worth. Those wasted hands no longer able to show your worth. Now what defines this sad routine that nearly everyone ignores? Their lonely battles leave no time for casualties. Now, of course, we never meet on the avenues of life, but in the alley of existence, your slur lives on. In the ever-present alley, your Chrysler lives on. Is there anyone alive? Who waits to take you in their arms? Or can comfort but be found in death's embrace? I have keys, so I must ride to a planet far away, far away. These men in blue will treat you gentle. It is their job. Everyone who treats you gentle, it's just a job. Everyone who treats you gentle, it's just a job.
Continuing with all my sons. Chris, I know all about the world. I know the whole crap story. Now listen to this and tell me what a man's got to be. My dear Anne, it's a letter from Larry. You listening? He wrote this day he died. Listen, Dad, don't cry, listen. My dear Anne, it is impossible to put down the things I feel, but I've got to tell you something. Yesterday they flew in a load of papers from the estates, and I read about Dad and your father being convicted. I can't express myself. I can't face the other men. I can't bear to live anymore. Last night I circled the base for 20 minutes before I could bring myself in. How could he have done that? Every day 3 or 4 men never return, and he sits back there doing business. I can't face anybody. I don't know how to tell you what I feel. I'm going out on a mission in a few minutes. They'll probably report me missing. If they do, I want you to know that you mustn't wait for me. Goodbye, my sweetheart. Larry. Now blame the world, Dad. Get the car, Chris. I'll put on my jacket. Joe. No, let me go. I want to go. I'm sorry, Kate. To be sorry is enough. You're not going anywhere. Wait, sleep. No, I'm going inside. Why are you doing this? Larry would never want you to go, your own son. Then why did he do that? They were all my sons, Katie. I'll be right down. Chris, he'll stay if you tell him. Go to him. Mother, he's got to go. You both gone crazy? Tell him to sleep. No, Mom. God in heaven, what is accomplished if he goes? I thought you read this, Mom. The war is over. Didn't you hear it? It's over. Then what was Larry to you, Mom? A stone that fell into the water? It's not enough to be sorry. Larry didn't kill himself so you and Dad would be sorry. What more can we be? You can be better. Once and for all, you can know now that the whole earth comes in through those fences. There's a universe out, and you're responsible to it. And if you're not, you threw your son away, because that's why he died. He's got to go. And a shot rings out in the house. Find him, Chris. Oh, my darling. Goodbye, goodbye. Mother, it had to be, Chris. Long ago, I knew. Chris, live now, forget now. Shh.
They started out on bread and water. Put them on a boat to the promised land. Oh, how the mean things started to happen. I may never hope to understand. Arise, arise, I heard the captain. Surrender calmly to the morning bell. And erase the pictures you have gathered. Just behold the heights from which you fell. And where do we surrender? And to whom do we place the call? Where do we give up when we've seen it all? How do we explain it? Somebody give us an alibi. Where do we confess we can no longer try? They handed out all the latest inventions. All you had to do was stand there in line and repeat the laws of mass production. Repeat them all till we all sound the same. And the children cried out, hallelujah. And their speakers blared with the latest sacred songs. Pick up the beat, but don't ask any questions. This is freedom, 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 and it won't last long. Surrender, and to whom do we place the call? Who do we give up when we've seen it all? How do we explain it? Somebody give us an alibi. try. Start again, start again. Do not give me a number. Stop me now before I take that fall. I dreamed the factories had all turned to graveyards, and I thought I heard that wailing one. Last call, screamed the bartender. Last call for your doomsday machines. Take your soul, take 'em out there on the highway. Release yourself to a deadly extreme. Surrender, and to whom do we place the call? Who do we give up when we've seen it all? How do we explain it? Somebody give us an alibi. Who do we confess we can no longer try?
A Home on Al-Mutanabi Street by Richard Harrison. I am a word in Arabic, in English, and in Farsi. I am a word in Kurdish and German and Hebrew and French. I am a word in the mouths of prophets and hawkers. I will get you tea, I will bring you joy and to tears. I am a word in a book. I lie open to the sun that reads me over the shoulder of someone looking to buy. I am the imagination of the enemy come home to its enemy's understanding, because the leap from enemy to friend is as swift and sure as the journey from paper to eye. I am loved, I am reviled, I am feared, I am myself, and I am you. When the book opens, you can hear me sigh in pleasure at the touch of your mind. When the bombs go off, I am scattered from all that I have known, and the wind and ashes take me. You might think I disappear, but I do not. The fires died down. My place in the house, on the street, in the rebuilt cafe remain. I am memory in the stuff of memory. I survive the past because I am always the present. I survive death because I am the future. I survive hatred because I am love. Build me a home and I will return and be heard. And when you see me filling the page again, you will know I never abandoned you. Richard Harris, A Home on Al-Mutanabi Street. Sympathy by Paul Laurence Dunbar. I know what the caged bird feels, alas, when the sun is bright on the upland slopes, when the wind stirs soft through the springing grass, and the river flows like a stream of glass, when the first bird sings and the first bud opens, and the faint perfume from its chalice steals, I know what the caged bird feels. I know why the caged bird beats his wing till its blood is red on the cruel bars. For he must fly back to his perch and cling, when he fain would be on the bough a swing. And a pain still throbs in the old scars, and they pulse again with a keener sting. I know why he beats his wing. I know why the caged bird sings. Ah, me, when his wing is bruised and his bosom sore, when he beats his bars and he would be free, it is not a carol of joy or glee, but a prayer that he sends from his heart's deep core. but a plea that upward to heaven he flings. I know why the caged bird sings. Sympathy by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Langston Hughes' poem, I Dream a World. I dream a world where man no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy, like a pearl, attends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream my world. Langston Hughes.
One day my oldest stood right up to me, said, "Oh, Dad, what is freedom and democracy? Oh, I don't know," I answered truthfully. It's so confusing to a guy like me. People say they're free when things are going real good. Now I don't feel too bad, but I know that I could. Freedom should end, this could be why people stop rooting for the other guy. If freedom should go, here's what I say. We're just standing around saying thank you, kindly, have a real nice day. Then my youngest, who was standing near, said, "Oh, Dad, why do people live their lives in fear? Oh, well, there's lots to be said, but is it okay? You're just a kid, so be a kid today. There's only so much that a person can do, but I'm not lying when I'm telling you, if freedom should end, this could be why people stop rooting for the other guy. If freedom should go, here's what I say. We'll just stand around saying thank you, kindly, have a real nice day." A New World griot told me one fine day, "Oh, Bill, kiss and hug your children every single day. Oh, 'cause if freedom should go, here's what I say. People are rooting for the other guy. Freedom should go, here's what I say. We'll just say thank you, kindly, have a real nice day. Oh, if freedom should end, this could be why people stop rooting for the other guy. If freedom should go, here's what I say. We just all say thank you, kindly, have a real nice day. Thank you, kindly, have a real nice day. Thank you, kindly, have a real nice day. Oh.
On behalf of Bill and myself, thank you.